each other up. That's what we're called to do in community, is to encourage one another and build each other up. There's enough discouraging stuff that happens in our world already. The news is filled with negativity. Our reality shows are filled with drama and attack and cursing this person out and giving this person a piece of your mind and that person a piece of your mind until we are left with no peace of mind. We are children of the light, children of day. We don't belong to the night and we don't belong to darkness. We are not like those who are asleep. People who are asleep are in the world and negative things are happening and they are not aware of it because they are asleep. We are never called as the church to be asleep. We cannot afford to be asleep. We are Zion, and we are called at Zion to be at attention. You must be alert, be sober, be vigilant, be wary, walk circumspectly. You know what circumspect means? Circum means around, spect means to look. It means that you walk looking around. You watch and you pray. You don't let stuff slip up on you. You need to be aware of what your children are looking at on the internet and who they are talking to on their cell phones. You're not asleep where you're unaware of stuff that is happening in the financial world, in the business community, in government, how our privacy is gradually being eaten away. You will be surprised. Don't be asleep. We're children of light. We're supposed to be in the knowledge, be in the know. Touch your neighbor, say, be in the know. Be in the know, be in the know. Listen, we're children of the day. There's some things that we're supposed to know. And if you don't know it, you need to hook up with somebody who does know it so you can be informed. And that's why it says encourage one another. We're not here to scare each other. We're here to encourage one another. We're not here to look at somebody, find fault with them, and start talking about them. It is so, that's giving over to the flesh. When you want to talk about somebody's weight, and somebody's hair, and somebody's clothes and shoes, and that pocketbook doesn't match. And you're looking at this, sometimes they're doing the best they can. You don't know. You don't understand their story. They could be colorblind, and you're laughing at them because their socks and shoes don't match. Encourage one another. Encourage one another. We ought to be encouraging one another and building one another up because the world, the satanic forces are trying to tear you down, make you feel belittled in your own self-esteem. We've got enough stuff that tears us down and makes us feel belittled when, you know, other people that don't believe in you, you know, when you don't have sufficient money to do what you want to do, when there are things that you want to bless other folks that you're in relationship with, that you love and care about, and you can't do it, that tears you down. We've got enough stuff in this world that tears us down. We need other people to encourage us and to build us up. When was the last time that you were encouraged? When was the last time that you were built up? But more importantly, when was the last time that you encouraged somebody else? When was the last time you built somebody else up? Because remember, you reap what you sow, not what you intended to sow. And so I want to talk today to some of you who don't practice the whole encouraging and building folks up. Some people's personalities are so negative that whenever they look at people, it's always to find something wrong that they can laugh at. And they never build folks up. And then you got other folks. In every family, there are people that are the strong ones in the family. That no matter what's going on, they've got to always try to pull things together, hold things together, pump people up, make peace with everybody, try to keep everybody happy. But who encourages the one that has to encourage everybody all the time? It's time for that person to be encouraged. For the person that's been trying to lift everybody else up, encourage everybody else, trying to hold everybody else together, strengthen everybody else, talk everybody else into keeping their sanity, and then you're about to lose yours. And nobody ever thinks that you need encouragement because you're encouraging everybody else. You're a human being too. You get tired too. You get frustrated too. You get discouraged too. Just because they don't see you crying and frustrated doesn't mean that it's not happening down on the inside. Everybody can use a little bit of encouragement from time to time. So encourage one another and build up one another. I want you to set this as a determination in your own heart and mind this week to one day, every day this week, find somebody to encourage, find somebody to build up. Speak to their dreams. Speak to them in areas where they've been discouraged, and you find a way to be able to encourage them. We're children of light. We ought to be alert to be able to see somebody who's down on themselves, who's beating themselves up, who's failed at something, and they just need a word of encouragement to say that somebody believes in them. Just sometimes the encouragement to say that it's going to be all right, baby. You'll be able to make it. I still love you. I know you messed up, but I still love you. I still believe in you. I still believe in you. You're going to be able to come back and be exactly what God called you to be. We just need some people to prophesy to some other folks and encourage them in the Lord. Encourage one another and build each other up. Encourage one another and build each other up. We have a civic responsibility, a moral obligation by Scripture as children of light to encourage others and build them up. I grew up in a day, where we had a sense of community. We had a sense of community in my day, growing up. And you knew your neighbors by name. It wasn't just the people that lived in the gray house. We knew their name. We knew Mr. Jones. We knew Mr. Williams. I mean, we knew who they were. We knew Miss Johnson. We knew the candy lady. We had a candy lady in our community. We knew the candy lady. If you didn't have money, you can get it on credit with the candy lady. I mean, I know y'all know some people there. Y'all know the weed man. That's not my idea of community. I mean, I grew up at a time where the milkman delivered milk to the house in crates and bottles. Now, I'm not old enough to remember the Iceman coming around, with the tongue. We didn't have an icebox. We did have a refrigerator. My dad in his country, he still called it a Frigidaire. But I grew up in a time when we had a real sense of community. We could go next door and borrow some eggs if Mama was cooking some cornbread and she looked in there and realized she didn't have enough eggs, or she needed a cup of sugar or a stick of butter. We could go next door and get it from our neighbors. We knew our neighbors. We knew our neighbors. You could go borrow. We scared to go and borrow. They'll tell you where Kroger and Publix are located. The same place I got this, But we had a sense of community. In the day that I grew up, you didn't just look after your children. Anybody's child in your neighborhood was your child. You had to, if they were over your house misbehaving, you spanked their children, called their mama and told them what you did. The mama spanked them when they got home and then told them, just wait till your daddy gets here. And you got another spanking. That's community. Well, you treat them like your own children. I grew up at a time when people barbecued and we talked, from one backyard over to another, or sitting on the front porch and talking to your neighbors. Folks sat on their porches and they talked to each other. They talked to each other. They didn't text, they talked to each other. And perhaps the way to really go forward is to actually go back. Because cyberspace is an artificial community. It is an artificial community. We've got to learn once again to talk to each other. Well, you need to learn how to pick up the telephone and talk to somebody. Communicate to people that love you and who would love to hear your voice. Not your voicemail. They want to hear your voice. They want to hear your voice live, talking and interacting with them. They want to hear your voice. It would be refreshing to them if they could go to the mailbox one day and just get a little card just saying thinking of you, and with some positive, encouraging thoughts in your own handwriting, and not something that a computer printed out, but something that comes from the creativity of your own handwriting. I take time every week to write personal letters to individuals just to encourage them.